Siona God, Oshasonali. Hello all, good morning, and thank you, Wado. Thank you for watching. So we are on day 12, Transformation of America, the true life story of a CIA mind control slave by Kathy O'Brien with Mark Phillips. And we're going to get through some more of the proof that's provided in the book. So this one says, State of Tennessee run quote-unquote warehouse, the quote-unquote home of broken butterflies, where Kelly's ongoing political prisoner status began. San Francisco protest of U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Aquino's federal protection and board position on Child Care Council. Kelly with biological father, occult serial killer Wayne Cox by court order 1988. And Kelly with pedophile boxcar Willie Bruland, Vermont 1985. So there's the two places. And then this one is the biological dad, the serial killer guy. There's Boxcar Willie down there. It's all ridiculously crazy. And then the, let's see, protest of the lieutenant colonel right there. Kathy when Gerald Ford knew her, which is, I mean, all this is disgusting. Earl O'Brien, Kathy's pedophile father. The O'Brien family in 1980. Carol, Mike, Bill, Kathy, Earl, Tom, Kelly, Joe, Kim, Tim. Kathy, May 7th, 1966, First Communion. Sparky Anderson, who Kelly named as abuser and who abused Kathy as a child. Kathy's brother Tom, front of 1966 Ford, used to drive Vanderjagt, Vanderjagt, and Ford in local parades. Oh, okay. Anyway, so there's Kathy's father. Then her, let's see, when Gerald Ford knew her, so he abused her at that age right there. There's the whole family. There's her at her first communion. And there's old Sparky down there, nasty. And then here's the car that was driven in the parade for that other guy that I named the name of. I couldn't name it, I had to spell it, and then Ford. So the next page says the Nashville Dermatology, and okay, so it says surgically removed Kathy's high voltage stun gun prod holes from face. And they shot her in the face with a stun gun, people. Treated Kathy's jaw, which was permanently damaged through torture. First psychiatrist to diagnose Kelly, MPDED, with mind control programming. First psychiatrist to evaluate Kathy and Kelly in 1989. Went against CIA and state of Tennessee to declare Kathy legally sane and competent as mother. Kelly's alleged CIA-sponsored Vanderbilt psychiatrist and therapist. So here are all those credentials. So these are all like in the 40s for pages if you want to reference from the book. Oh, no, hang on. It starts back at page 33. And now we're on 44. Pediatric Consultants of Alaska. Dear Mr. Chapman, Kelly O'Brien appeared in my office in the company of her mother, Kathy O'Brien, on 6/12/89. Mother requested evaluation of possible sex abuse. Child appeared somewhat ill, at ease, but was fully cooperative and had a good sense of humor, joking during the examination, physical examination. She was a rather round-faced child with prominent cheeks, otherwise negative, breasts are Tanner stage Q development, chest fine musical wheezes throughout. GU, the genital exam, is Tanner stage O or 0 development. The introitus is intensely red with a moderate white discharge. Culture for sexually transmitted diseases was negative. The hymen has a smooth, thick edge with a 6 by 8 millimeter opening. The vaginal mucosa appeared normal. Rectal anus has no tears, no fissures, and no scars. Extremities are rather stocky in the proximal portion. Diagnosis: large opening in the hymen, indicative of sexual penetration. Non-specific vaginitis of childhood, chronic asthma. Comment: vaginitis causes some swelling of the hymen tissue. If the swelling were not present, the opening through the hymen may appear considerably larger. The size of the opening itself is typical for a child who has been sexually penetrated with an object the size of an adult finger. this could not have been caused by an accident because the hymen is recessed back into the introitus far enough to protect it from damage occurring from falls, splits, etc. Clinton B. Lillybridge, MD, pediatrician. CC Dr. Bruno, KAPPES. That's Pediatric Consults of Alaska, Inc. Pediatric Consults of Alaska, Inc. again, and that was June 22nd, 1989. This one's September 11th, 1989. Dear Dion, Kelly Cox's 9.5-year-old chronic asthma that was, chronic asthmatic. That's what it is, chronic asthmatic that was involved with her parent in a cult, which did mind programming. Mother and Kelly are now in rather intensive treatment for this with salutary effect. She had physical findings of chronic asthma. They have applied for Social Security disability, which requires evaluation of expertise beyond mine. A copy of the paperwork is enclosed. And then it's Dr. Lillybridge. Again, excuse me. Next is Charter North Hospital. The patient is 9.5-year-old who was admitted to the, let me see if I see the date, admission date, 9/19/89, says 9 days later. The patient is 9.5-year-old girl who was admitted to the hospital or transferred from Humana Hospital, where she has been a patient for approximately 2 weeks. She was admitted there because of an acute asthmatic episode in which she had deteriorated from a previous time. Additionally, the patient is a victim of sexual abuse and ritualized abuse involving hypnosis, mind control, and psychological programming. The patient had been under the hypnotic control of her stepfather from the age of 2.5 until approximately 6 months prior to admission. During this time, the patient had been sexually abused and had participated in ritual abuse and had been programmed to die. Last June, at the end of the school year, the patient had an acute asthmatic episode requiring intensive treatment at Humana Hospital. During that time, she was on steroids and has been recently on a course of steroids. The patient is admitted to Charter North Hospital because of suicidal homicidal ideation. The ideation appears to be mostly directed towards herself, her mother, and her stepfather. The patient's mental status examination at the time of admission indicates an attractive blonde-haired girl with a slightly moon-shaped faces. That's a typo. Consistent with the use of steroids. She relates easily to the examiner, whom she knows through her outpatient treatment. She is animated and engaging. She is quite resistant to exploration of her problems, but can fairly easily refer to the sexual abuse she has experienced. There are no bizarre or unusual behaviors noted in this examination tonight. She does seem somewhat agitated and admits that she is apprehensive. She appears to be intellectually bright. Admitting diagnosis: dissociative disorder, OS, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and bronchial asthma. Social history was obtained by the unit social worker. It is his assessment that she is engaging in verbal youngster on a superficial social level. The writer was able to trigger the patient's defenses, which consisted of a horse persona and withdrawal. Activity level was good and eye contact appropriate. Horse persona, Jesus. Ugh. So here's that. And then next is State of Louisiana Certificate of Live Birth. And it says that, let's see, it's for Edward Wayne Cox and Kathleen Ann O'Brien. It's Kelly Lynn Cox's birth certificate. Next one is Kathy O'Brien, and it looks like she is getting her vaginal area checked out, and let me see if it's for Kelly or not, because I see Kelly's name in here in the doctor's handwriting. Kelly's name is in this one right here, but Kathy's is up here, and it says look at vagina again. So you'll understand why they're getting checked out later on when Kathy starts talking and recounting everything. I mean, it's terrible. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video now. Don't go hang, and the kitchen, telling me again, love you, mean it.